What's the worst pain you've ever experienced? Gallstones. I was in so much agony for a week that I couldn't stand up. I just laid on the couch and literally writhed with pain. Finally went to the hospital and spent 3 days on the maximum amount of morphine before I had surgery. F***er almost burst from infection plus massive stones. I second this. Looking forward to having my gallbladder out soon. It's worth it. However, I'm in the small percentage of people that live with phantom pains. I don't have the constant pain I used to have, but I sometimes still get a gallbladder attack. Just throwing it out there that it can happen and to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. I have them too. Strangest sensation. It's weird. They say your body can't remember pain, and for the most part I've found that to be true. But anytime I think about the pain of gallstones I can literally feel it. Not nearly as intensely, but that I can remember vividly, almost a decade later. Phantom pains could be due to sphincter of body dysfunction. If the pains get really bad, go back and get some tests done. Had a horse fall sideways onto my leg. The horse then attempted to stand up and planted its foot on my hip. No broken bones but irreversible nerve damage. Completely passed out from the pain. I wished for death when I came to. My uncle was a jockey, and he fell off the horse in the middle of the race, and all the other horses ran over him. He was very badly injured and is extremely lucky to have made a almost full recovery, in that his brain is fine, but he has one paralyzed hand and a limp. It's incredible that he even survived. I'm officially terrified of horses. Yikes. Don't underestimate the power of a horse. One night I was wearing pajama pants and sitting back on my bed. My cat comes up and snuggles in between my legs. A minute later I put my hands in my pants and start scratching my balls. I guess my cat thought I was trying to play with her. She swiped at my moving hand with her paw and her claw went through my pants and into my scrotum. It was stuck there for like 20 seconds as she tried yanking it out. What's wrong? Cat got your balls? This made me actually laugh out loud, deserving of being spelled out. Me too. At work. No, my cat's shredding them into bad shredded cheese. I wish I had some gold. This deserves gold. Got shot twice with an AK-47 at close range. One bullet lodged in my hip joint and the other went through my pelvis. The icing on the cake was that a large Englishman broke my sternum and a few ribs doing CPR. Recovery was not pleasant. Almost every time doing CPR on someone they reckon you will break their ribs. Yep, I have had to do CPR twice. I will never forget the feeling of breaking someone's ribs. I got certified to do CPR in high school last year. They never said anything about breaking someone's ribs. I think I might get recertified before trying it. I am really surprised they didn't warn you that if you are doing compressions deep enough you will probably break ribs. And if it's an elderly person, they are the ones more likely to need CPR usually. You will almost certainly break ribs. You should recert every year or two. I have taken that class so many times but am always thankful for the refresher, and they have changed how CPR is done many times since I was first certified. You never know when you might be able to help. CPR first aid certifications expire every 2 years so you kinda have to. Kidney stone. Goddamn. People have asked me what kidney stones feel like. I always give them this answer. Think about pain for a moment. You pull a muscle and it hurts. But when you move it, the pain modulates somehow. It hurts more or less, depending on what you do. Kidney stones don't have any modulation. It's a constant pain that cannot be changed or affected by any normal means. You can twist and turn and push and pull, but that pain is still there, just like it was before. Because of this, the pain jumps up a few notches on the scale. Even if the pain is only a 4, it feels like a 9 because it never changes, never gets better, never gets worse, it just hurts constantly. I've had stones 3 times in my life, and every time it's been an opiate haze because it's the only thing that allows me to function through the pain. I was so happy when those little bastards passed. For me, the first time it happened I didn't know what was going on and it started as a random sharp spike of pain then into a constant dull backache. Once it really kicked in a few days later, I remember waking in the middle of the night and going into the bathroom to sit on the edge of the tub and rock back and forth leaned over. I can remember visualizing that a red hot sword had run through me, back to front, but never dulling, only staying sharp or pulsing. Having an infected ingrowing toenail removed without anesthetic. Having the same infected toe stamped on during a football match comes in a very close second. I can second that. The doctor gave me a mouthpiece and a stick to hold as she stuck the needle in my infected toe to deaden it. They say you don't remember pain. But I remember that. I had to get it done 3-5 times on each big toe because they f***ed up a few times. The last time I went for that shit I just told them to remove both of my big toenails. Hurt like a f***ing because they put acid along the nail bed and afterwards the pain is ridiculous and you can't walk right. But it's so worth it to not have to go and get that damn surgery done ever again. Yeah, I had it done 4 times on each toe as well. Apparently I am just prone to getting them. By the most recent time, I wasn't too fazed by the needle going into the tip of my big toe. I am scared now. I had my first ever operation for an ingrown toenail a week ago. Anesthetic hurt so bad, but rest was fine. I went to a foot therapist to check my other toenails and also put a bridge on my other big toe. Are you really prone to having to do several of these surgeries? Not anymore. Some people just get one, and others get them every year or two. Ask your parents how their toes are. Toothache by far. It was the single most piercing, invasive, and constant pain I've come across. I couldn't fall asleep because it became 10 times worse if I rested my head in any way, so I was kept awake for over 60 hours. I was on the edge of insanity when I finally staggered my way to the health center and loaded up on codeine. Then I ended up having a panic attack shortly after, which didn't really help the situation. Finally ended up having it pulled. But yeah, I once severed the end of my thumb to the bone on a bandsaw and had it stitched back together, and it was nothing compared to the excruciating pain of that toothache. Tooth pain is excruciating. I had a bad cavity, and my filling was metal. Most of the time it was fine, but when I was over a certain elevation the metal would expand and pinch the nerve. The first time it happened I was dying. I eventually had a root canal on that tooth, but for a while I had to avoid higher elevations. I had a nasty abscess a couple of years ago, and not even f***ing dilaudid put much of a dent in the pain. I spent a miserable long while just clutching the side of my face and sobbing. I think I would have had a difficult time choosing between that and just being shot in the head. What makes it even worse, I think, is that it is so damn difficult to emotionally or mentally distance yourself from the pain when it is radiating throughout your head, as opposed to, let us say, your foot. That's where most of my very self is located in my body. I burning the entire palm of my hand on a hot frying pan. The pain was unbearable. I did that when I was 2 on the actual coiled stove top burners with both hands. Mother and I learned that my favorite color is stove top orange. The blisters finally healed and I never did that shit again. Sucks I still have prints though. When I was a kid, I put the back of my hand against the glass of a wood burning stove just to see if it was hot. About 5 seconds after my mum warned me not to. If someone tells me something is hot I have to give it a quick touch to see for myself. I don't know why. My first word was hot. I touched something hot when I was little and learned not to do it. My parents then used the word hot for anything they didn't want me to touch. Electrical sockets were hot. Vases were hot. Eventually they used it so much the first word I said was hot. Man, my mom said the same to me. Don't touch this, Matt. Stoves are very hot and blah blah blah. She picked me up while I'm screaming like a damned air raid siren, takes me out of the apartment and makes me touch a brick goddamned wall to see if I still have feeling in my hands. Yeah, that's why my neighbors are walking outside to my screams. Lady, I feel everything. In her defense she was freaked right out. I work as a carpenter. One day I was working on a new house using a nail gun to join wooden frames together. One of the nails I shot skewed off and went through the tip of my index finger and out my fingernail, essentially nailing me to the building. I instinctively yanked my arm away, not realizing my finger was fixed in place and made it worse. Had to cut the head of the nail off and slide it through. I just about passed out from the pain. I started going nope 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 as soon as I got a nail gun. I started the nopes at I work as a carpenter. That statement in a thread like this is going to be bad. Fingertip injuries are the worst. There are a lot of nerves in the end of your finger. My mind immediately went to this. Nail gun. Could have gone far worse. A friend whose parent was an X-ray tech showed me an X-ray of someone who shot one nail through 4 of their fingers. I'm a carpenter as well, and a buddy of mine shot his foot to the subfloor with a bump fire nail gun on accident. We had to sawzall around his foot and drive him to the ER with a piece of 3/4 4-inch plywood nailed to his foot. Pancreatitis. Called 911 and told them the door would be open. I passed out from pain. Woke up 10 days later in the hospital. I love how the body can just go nope. This. No sense in enduring this. I wake you up when it's over, fam. I had pancreatitis as well. The worst pain bar none. 10 days later? What caused you to be out for that long? A medically induced coma? Pancreatitis is painful. The only cure is giving it a rest, as in no food by mouth. Intravenous sustenance only. They never said coma, but I was out of it for 10 days.